About those who took their fate in their own hands, the Super Eagles of Nigeria, the players decided to do just that. They were in Libya. They were heading for Benghazi, but they later found themselves in Al-Abrak. What happened? Just midway through the flight, they got a diversion that you can't come to Benghazi, go to Al-Abrak International Airport. And report says that particular airport is being used for
military?
No. For
Hajj, yes.
Hajj operations.
Only. It is exclusively a Hajj operations airport.
But what happened? Super Eagles of Nigeria are supposed to play the Mediterranean Nights of Libya this Tuesday, 8 p.m. Ordinarily, we would have been by now getting set to see the Super Eagles in action in the reverse fixtures between Nigeria and Libya. The first leg, not first leg actually,
it should be the
match day, the match day 3.
Okay.
Match day 3 of the qualifying campaign took place in Godswill Akpabio International Stadium, and the Super Eagles could only manage a slender 1-0 win, and were hoping that on the reverse fixtures that was to happen in Benghazi that they were going to up their game. But the Libyans had a separate plan for them. It was, of course, meant to give them some kind of psychological, mental, and physical torture before grace. I've been in this business of sports coverage.
Everything is allegedly.
For years.
And
I can say this authoritatively. Let them come up with the reason why they decided to move them from Benghazi to Al-Abrak, and why didn't they provide them with logistics needed to get them out of that place. We are told a road trip of about between 2 to 3 hours from Al-Abrak to Benghazi, and you didn't provide them with the transport that would take them from there. I remember you were asking me, why didn't they travel from Al-Abrak to Benghazi by air? Going by CAF's regulations, you are allowed to engage on a road trip if the journey between where you landed, the international airport, and the venue of your match, I think is no more than 2 hours journey, or is it 2 or 3 hours drive?
I think it's 3.
You are allowed to go by a road. Anything beyond that is when you are expected to get a connecting flight and continue. So we diverted our Eagles to Al-Abrak, and you just abandoned them. 18 hours. You didn't get to talk to them, to address them.
No security, no protocol, no
security were there. The security that were there didn't allow.
The security, when I say security were there, the airport security which kept them locked inside the terminal.
Maybe that was the best thing they could do for them. But in all of this,
keep them inside the airport terminal.
And there isn't someone from the Libya Football Federation.
That's what I mean by protocol.
Them. That, sorry gentlemen, this is what happened, this is what we are faced with. In the next 2-3 hours, of course we know of a transit situation where you have to stay in a particular airport for some
time,
hours before moving on. Courtesy demand, if that exactly is what happened. But
such never happened.
No CAF, no Libyan football.
At a point,
so the players at some point, not the players actually, the officials at some point attempted to say, okay, if they could get hotel accommodation for the players in town, they got there. And the response from the hotelier is that we've received instruction not to give you guys accommodation. The cabin crew also tried the same, but they decided they were going to give accommodation to the pilot because he is from Libya, and they opted not to give other members of the cabin crew. But the guy said, single me out, allow me check into an hotel, and I leave my colleagues. So the cabin crew, the pilot, all of them went back and they slept in the aircraft.
It's really a sad one because sports is supposed to unite. It's that factor that unites, I think, everyone, even bigger than ethnicity, nationhood, nationalism, what other ism? All the isms, you know. I think sports is that one that unifies a lot of people, tribe, creed, everyone. And it's really sad that we're seeing that this could actually bring about some form of discomfort, not just for the players, but also for us as Africans. You know how we talk about blacks, whites, Negroes, slave trade, you know how we talk about all of those colonization things. But you know, recently we started saying things like xenophobia, and now I don't know what phobia to call this or what exactly it is to call this. I know there will be a term for it for having done this, but it's really not good because we're trying to unify Africa. We're trying to say that, okay, let's allow for free trade to happen amongst us. Let's have that harmony, that unity that makes us Africans. But you know, it's not going to be a nice one where the one point we can unite on, because I don't see us uniting on religious grounds. I don't see us uniting on ethnicity. One way we can get united in Africa is through sport and maybe trade, which of course trade has.
I don't know the explanation that CAF will be giving to FIFA.
But I know heads have been fired.
I don't know what explanation CAF will give.
What I wanted to say is that I don't know what the Libyans are really saying.
No, but I mean, there's a narrative that yes, that was the way they were treated when they came to Nigeria. They played in Nigeria on Thursday. Was to have the return match this Tuesday.
So, but why did they wait for now to let the world know that's the way they were treated? I mean, what I'm saying is that
no, they feel they have the opportunity of a payback time, so they just kept quiet.
But they are being very unfair. They were taken to Port Harcourt Strait, which is the closest international airport in that vicinity. And till they played their match, there was no complaint of anything. You see, to me, it is just these North African...
They even played hide and seek. The Nigerian Football Federation made available vehicles to pick them from Port Harcourt to Uyo. They decided to go by their own arrangement. Of course, Super Eagles have also expected something like this, but maybe not in the magnitude that they now saw. Because Super Eagles, the Nigerian Football Federation, beg your pardon, have also made arrangement for transportation to get the Eagles from the Benghazi airport to their hotel accommodation, which of course they've already booked. I mean, they had their food, they have their water. I mean, like you were going to talk about the North Africans, typical of them.
Yes.
If you recall the days of CAF Champions League, when the number of Abba was really a thorn in the flesh for them. CAF had banned the use of infrared in the stadium, but when you go to any North African countries to play, they play their games in the night. Be sure of that, and you get to see infrared lights being pointed at the goalkeeper of the opposing team. CAF, up till this moment, have not been able to do anything as far as that is concerned. We'll take it how the Libyans treated Nigerians contingent, the Nigerian Football Federation contingent to Libya for the reverse fixtures of the encounter between Nigeria and Libya. That was the 2025 African Nations Cup qualifying game after Super Eagles of Nigeria defeated them by a goal to nothing there in Uyo on Thursday, with the return leg, or rather the reverse fixtures, because there's a difference between return leg and reverse fixtures. Make no mistake about that. Reverse fixtures, yes, is a league format. So you play the first leg here, is a reverse fixtures. But if is a one-on-one basis, then talk about the first leg and talk about the second leg. So it's a reverse fixtures because we have other countries in our group that we are still playing with. So for the reverse fixtures, the kind of treatment that the Super Eagles of Nigeria received in the hands of our host, Libya, isn't one to really talk about. But we're waiting for what CAF's response will be. For me, if you ask me, I think I want to put the blame on the Confederation of African Football. That is the soccer governing body on the continent. You would expect that by now we should be top-notch in terms of arrangement, asking countries to submit their travel details and arrangement by the host nation be shared among the parties involved.
The two the host and the visitor.
And the visiting team.
Because
if you had that in black and white,
and also alternatives,
because they play you all sorts of archipelago and hide and seek. You cannot be too sure where they are coming, whether they will come today. I mean, it's normal with the North American teams.
North Africans,
North African teams. They won't tell you when they are coming, and before you about me. No, Kwara United played Zamalek of Egypt here at the Kwara State Stadium.
Yes.
In the Continental CAF Confederation Cup game. Players that we had known that United had gone out to spy on know their names. You know what those guys did when they came? They didn't write their name in English. At the back of their jersey, they wrote their name. I am saying Zamalek versus Kwara United. Anybody that has that tape should go and cross-check. All the players that we were looking forward to, this person is called this. Okay, we are looking for so person. We were expecting to see their names written in English. They decided to write it in Arabic.
Meanwhile, it is not as if to say they have not been wearing jerseys with English.
They've been wearing jerseys with English. That's why we are able to
identify them from the beginning. So, no, you see, what I see is that when it comes to football, the North African countries are very unscrupulous. I cannot think of any other name to call them. Look, in the days of IICC Zamalek, this same before they became 3SC, IICC will host them at Liberty Stadium. Then, when they come to Nigeria, they will now take us to one Bida Township Stadium. Please, not apologies to the people of Bida, but they will take us to a rural stadium. And when our supporters come, they will divert their flight. Say, for instance, now they are supposed to land at Lagos. They will go and take them to Akure. Then from Akure, they will now enter bus. On the way, the bus will break down. I mean, very, very... So by the time they get there, maybe the match is over. There are so many instances of that. And then there is that very ruthless practice of shining objects into the players to distract their vision.
That's the infrared.
I know. Yeah. It's sometimes they even do it with ordinary mirrors. But those are North African countries. Honestly, CAF needs to do something about it. My prayer now is that I hope that the NFF has already done a formal complaint.
Yes, the president has even issued a statement saying that he's urging that CAF should do something.
This is not good for diplomatic ties between Nigeria and Libya.
Yes.
Well, I must confess that diplomatically, Libya now is a pariah. Technically, Libya even has two governments as we speak now. One in Tripoli, one in another place. So, my own prayer is that Libya is able to resolve its internal problems as quickly as possible. But as in terms of diplomacy, Libya for now globally is nowhere to be found.
The Eagles came back yesterday, last night. They had a trip to Kano. Then from Kano, they flew to Abuja, where they were received by the Minister of Sports, who of course was full of praises for them taking that bold decision to say, having subjected us to this kind of ill treatment
for 18 hours in one location,
we cannot, mentally not prepare.
No, of course
any
not.
Football game.
That was the whole idea.
And looking at the class of players that we have, likes of Lukman, Ekong, these are people that are in the top leagues.
There is something on social media say billionaire footballers Nigeria sleeping in the airport. That's how life can happen. When you have luxury mansions, but you have to.
And I think the NFF president was part of the team.
Yeah, was part of the
I think he was actually the leader of the delegation. So you see, he doesn't need to be told. He has experienced this firsthand. Let's just hope
some of our colleagues too were there. I saw what's his name again? Toby.
Okay.